Welcome to Empower Humans.
Welcome again to the Empower Humans podcast. This is episode 87, day 15 of our continuing coronavirus coverage and commentary and just general insights that we're gaining, that I'm gaining, and personal experiences and so on as people deal with this quarantine and social distancing and all the various things going on. I don't know about you. I'm getting a little frustrated today, to be honest with you. Just this whole thing, I think it's going to be going on for a little while. And I don't want to like plant a seed of frustration in everybody's head. And so I'm watching kids sit stagnant, not in school, people out of work, frustrated, trying to make ends meet. It's the first of the month. Everyone's trying to pay their bills, rent in particular, cell phone bills and power and gas and all the various things that are going on. And some people are still employed and still able to do those things, while so many others, we just found out, over 6.6 million, I believe, unemployment claims this week, double from last week. So it's just continuing to go up. And again, we're in this together. I know we can get through this. Before we dig any deeper, I want to remind you, as always, you're absolutely priceless. You're never alone. That's never going to change. Reach out if you need any help or insight. Info at empowerhumans.com, at Empower101 on Instagram and Twitter. Let's talk real quick about some of these numbers and then a few little insights from today and a couple little personal notes as well. The numbers as it stands now, and this is a big day because we crossed the threshold of 1 million confirmed cases. And again, as I've been saying, that doesn't mean that's how many cases there are. That means people have been tested and 1 million have tested positive, and probably quite a few have tested negative as well. So we got to look at all sides of the coin. But 53,236 deaths so far, and 213,000 recovered. Again, this is the early stages where these cases haven't resolved themselves completely. In the United States, we now have 245,000 confirmed cases with just over 6,000, almost 6,100 confirmed deaths. 93,000 of those 245,000 are out of New York. They've done a lot of testing, but 2,538 deaths there as well. So it goes to show that there's a lot going on with this still. We've gotten to a place where we've now crossed over about 1,000 deaths per day in the United States. So some interesting things are happening and sad things as well. Link up to all these numbers and other things, including our Facebook group at hope.empowerhumans.com. Also, I've been pointing out we've got links to a bunch of memes as well to get some comic relief and maybe keep our sanity a little bit. Hopefully have a sense of humor. The thing I keep hearing about all this is the word unprecedented. Have you been hearing that? Have you been saying that? I think I've said it a few times myself on the news channels, which, as we pointed out yesterday, have been up over 80+% with all this going on. Everyone's saying this is unprecedented, which means nothing like this has ever happened. You go back to maybe the holiday season, and if you were to tell any of us, hey, guess what's coming in February, March, and beyond, everyone would be like, no, this is 2020. It's a new decade, blah, 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 blah. But this is how quickly life can change. There's so many lessons that we can learn from that, and just some perspective and patience and so on as well. And speaking of New York a little bit earlier, so far in New York, approximately 25% of these confirmed cases have been hospitalized, which is quite a few when you think about 25%. And 44% of those have required ventilators, essentially. That's according to the city health department. So 44% of those hospitalized have required ventilators. It's kind of a scary thing. And the more I go out and about and watch the news and so on, the less I want to get this virus. I've already known a couple folks who've gotten it, and the situation just, again, sounds pretty horrific. I mean, horrific's maybe a strong word, but it does not sound pleasant. And clearly people are dying and suffering, and fevers. And I watched Chris Cuomo talk about he was even having little hallucinations. These kind of things happen when people are sick and having fevers and stuff too. So I'm not trying to scare anybody. this is an update, and this is what's going on. We're in this together, though, and we will get out of this together, and we'll come out stronger, more united, I believe. I went out and got some puzzles at the store. Full disclosure, I actually took my boys with me. And, of course, we wiped everything down. We got home, and they kept them close to me and made sure they were trying not to touch things. I even got them some Tic Tacs at the checkout. They say, hey, can we get some Tic Tacs? And made sure we wiped all that stuff down when we got home. And, about a week ago, I probably wouldn't have done that. But as I've watched this unfold, I realize, you know what, I need to do that. I need to take all the precautions I can to wipe things down, to avoid touching people and things and social distancing and all these things. And so that's what we're doing. I heard today that the Democratic National Convention is being moved to August. I don't even know. We're in a big election year. This is a presidential election year, which is kind of the big one where everyone pays a little bit more attention, or a lot more attention. And what about the elections? I mean, what if this goes on through the fall and into November? Are we going to have people go stand in line still to vote? Are we going to postpone elections? Is this, I mean, we could go dig deep on this topic, but just a question mark in all of our heads. Again, go to our Facebook group linked up at hope.empowerhumans.com. Also on our homepage, there's a link to that page, empowerhumans.com. But talk about all this. I'm going to bring up some topics about all this as well. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen here. This is going to test the resolve of the world, and where I live, which is America, the United States. It's going to test our resolve on all kinds of areas, and probably really kind of put a big question mark on what is it that we should be valuing, because I think leading up to this, some things are going to change from how we were before versus how we will be after. I heard about this stimulus, that people should start receiving those checks, deposits, payments around the week of April 13th. If you filed a tax return in the last year or two, and most people these days, I believe, do an e-filing, which does a direct deposit into a bank account, that from what I'm hearing, it should be automatically done, which is a good thing. It's going to be based on, you know, what your tax filing was. So that's something to keep in mind. April 3rd also is businesses can apply for special loans, and these could be forgiven as long as the businesses continue to pay employees. This is, again, what I'm hearing. We'll have to dig deeper on some of that. So if you're running a business and it's been shut down, and I'm hearing so many stories that are kind of breaking my heart, for lack of better phrasing here. And truthfully, they kind of are, because people have set up businesses. They have families that built these businesses over the course of decades, 40, 50 plus year old businesses that have never been shut down, more than a day or something for some renovation or some cleaning or something. And now business is shut down for weeks on end so far, and it could go on for months. So again, as we pointed out at the top, unprecedented for sure. But there's just something about humanity. We find a way to get through things. Regardless of what you believe about spirituality, religion, God, evolution, this is documented history that humans have adapted and found our way through things. And I believe we'll come out, maybe we'll have whole new, updated at least, systems of how we process life, from the economy to social interactions, sporting events, public speaking, schooling, all these things. I believe there'll be some updates after all this, and some different ways that we prepare possibly for something like this in the future. I believe we'll get through this. I believe we'll, like I say, come out stronger, more united, and just trust in that, my friends. Believe in that. Let's believe in that together. I'm trying to speak with you all the conviction I can muster, despite some frustrations as well. The frustrations are just kind of a natural part of the day-to-day small picture. But as I zoom out and look at humanity and what we're capable of, I know for sure we're going to get through this, my friends. Again, hope.empowerhumans.com. Go check out the Facebook group. Check out the memes and join the conversation, and also link up to some of these numbers that are kind of up to the minute kind of numbers as they're coming out from the various places in the world. Challenge you as always. Study, keep studying. Start studying if you haven't been. Stimulate your mind. I've enjoyed doing that during some of this somewhat downtime for me, and doing it with my kids. I sat down with my son today and we did some math together and worked on how you add and subtract fractions and lowest common denominators and all these things. I'm not trying to blow your head up with thoughts of fractions. And then he asked, well, when am I ever going to use fractions in life? And I said, you know what? You may never use fractions in your life, but this is part of a process of learning both the relationships of numbers and how that works, and also learning how to kind of strategically and systematically solve a problem. Whether you deal with fractions or not, there's a step-by-step process, and so you need to learn to go through step-by-step processes to solve problems. So anyway, I digress, but I'm just on the personal note. And again, we started this puzzle too. We went to the store and got some puzzles, like I said. So that's other things kind of stimulating our minds, not necessarily studying per se, but they haven't done big puzzles. These are 500-piece puzzles, so we've got the work cut out for us. Keep studying, my friends. Make great moments doing puzzles with yourself, family, friends, loved ones that might be cooped up with you at the moment. It's not too late. You can still surprise people. You can order food in. You can still have a at-home date of sorts if you have someone in your life in that regard. Any number of things you can do to make great moments. And of course, the last challenge, let's keep doing this podcast together. I'm going to stick with you, stick with me. I'm flattered that you spend your time with me. Love you, appreciate you, and I'm grateful that we have this together, and we will get through this. I absolutely promise you we will get through this. Until next time, my friends, empower yourself, empower the world around you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Empower Humans. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review this podcast. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit empowerhumans.com. We'll catch you next time.